Neanderthals were not just modern people with bigger heads, and a bigger body often needs a bigger brain. No emergency snack in the glove compartment. If the body could not find energy, the body had to make brutal choices. There was no fridge. That is not a simple world. A broken twig could be nothing, just cold air, firelight, animal sounds, and your ancestors had to read it. Or it could be danger. Very hard. Picture an ancient person at night. No button that turns darkness into safety. But because more body means more movement to control, more sensory information to manage, more muscle coordination, you are comparing the container and ignoring the machine it was connected to. No police siren in the distance, no ambulance, no flashlight. It may mean built for a different job, and that job was hard. Were they geniuses? The real question is, what problem was that brain solving? Start with the body. A large brain inside a large, cold-adapted, a big brain had to earn its keep. No grocery store, no delivery app, no walls like yours, no locked door, no street lights. This part is easy to miss. Physically demanding body may not mean more intelligent in the modern school test sense. Their faces were large. Many were stocky, muscular, and powerful, with bodies adapted to cold environments. More balance, more reaction, more survival work. Not because every large animal is writing poetry in its spare time, and for your ancestors, fuel was not guaranteed. Their lives were physical in a way your life almost never is. So, when you hear that ancient humans had bigger brains, the real question is not, if you compare only brain volume, their chests were broad, their bones were strong. That would be like building a bigger and bigger engine into a car without asking where the fuel comes from. They were built differently. So evolution does not just make brains bigger forever. Smarter at what? You may be smarter in a modern world because the modern world is built to help you. It is a living network. Money remembers value. Schools remember lessons. Laws remember agreements. Brain size is not the whole story. Organization matters. A giant room can be badly arranged. This is why the question, were ancient humans smarter, starts to feel slippery. That does not let you look at one skull and read a mind like a book. A smaller room can be designed perfectly. Researchers like Philip Gunz and Jean-Jacques Hublin have studied how Neanderthal skulls and modern human skulls differ. Neanderthals had a longer, lower skull shape. Modern humans have a more rounded brain case. You still react to sudden sounds before you have time to think. You still care what the group thinks of you, but there is another twist. Your modern brain still has ancient machinery inside it. That is not random. That is old software. You still feel fear in the dark. Which plant will make you sick? Even when the group is just strangers on a screen. They were different in shape. Ancient brains were not only different in size, it was not answering questions with 4 multiple-choice options. Who is angry? Who can be trusted? You still notice faces quickly. It was not taking an IQ test. Which animal passed here? Which season is turning? It was survival intelligence. Where is water? Which child is too quiet? Or rot? Or an animal nearby? Ancient intelligence was not sitting at a desk solving abstract puzzles. Which sound should make everyone stop talking? Other humans, children, hunger, weather, shadows, every tiny signal matters. It is a world full of hidden information. A smell could mean food. This is where the idea becomes more interesting. If your brain is smaller than some ancient brains, but connected to billions of human ideas, bigger means better. More brain means more intelligence. So, what if the humans before you had bigger brains than you do? It makes birth harder. It makes childhood longer. A larger skull means a stronger mind. So your brain should be the upgraded version. Were they smarter than you? It feels obvious. It is also wrong. It costs calories. It needs oxygen. It is not there to impress the future. Maybe it is about knowing what to do with the borrowed brain around you. Some ancient Homo sapiens had brains that were larger than the average human brain today. Because your brain wants a very easy answer, right? But then the skulls start talking. It asks the body for payment again and again and again. And if they were not, why did their brains need all that space? You are doing something no lone brain could do by itself. It is not always wise. It is expensive tissue, but large enough to make one question feel uncomfortable. That is where the simple story breaks. When the world remembers for you, you have to choose what you still remember for yourself. What if the humans before you had bigger brains than you do? A brain is not a trophy inside your head. You can do things they could not imagine. You have bigger problems in the noise. You are thinking with the species. But the real question is not whether their brains were bigger. They may have had larger brains on average in some times and places, not cartoonishly larger, not alien larger. It is an organ that burns energy every second you are alive. Maybe they did, because every time you use a map, read a word, or trust a tool, Neanderthals often had brains as large as ours, and sometimes larger. That larger mind is civilization. It needs blood. It needs protection. When the world gives answers instantly, you have to choose which answers deserve your trust. That sounds wrong. You have phones, cities, medicine, satellites. End quote. You can open a screen and pull up more information than any ancient person could have seen in a lifetime, but you have access to a larger mind than any single skull could hold. Then maybe modern intelligence is not about having the biggest brain. The real question is whether your brain is still awake inside the giant mind it built. And that brings the whole question back to you. They could do things you cannot do. Your ancestors had bigger problems in the dark, but it is enormous. When the world thinks for you, you have to choose what you still think through yourself. But there is a warning inside that. And in other ways, absolutely not. So were ancient humans smarter than you? The most honest answer is, in some ways, probably, yes. Different world, different test. As humans used more tools, shared more knowledge, divided labor, cooked food, and built cultural systems. A stack of reasons, not one magic answer. It helped reorganize human life. Primate brains, including human brains, are deeply tied to social life. The real story is that intelligence changed shape. Choosing the wrong partner could be costly. The real version is a highly adapted human mind, living under pressure you almost never experience directly. If every answer appears instantly, patience becomes harder. You have to know the interface. Your brain solves noise, choices, screens, information, and distraction. Cooked food can make energy easier to access. That is why the caveman image is so wrong. Modern humans carry more intelligence in systems. Because the real story is not humans got dumber. That is cheap. Being excluded could be deadly. The pressure on the brain changed too. It changes social life. More social cooperation, more external memory. Their danger was a predator in the dark. And honestly, that is better for the video. More culture doing work outside the skull. Their brain solved hunger, weather, fear, and movement. Ancient humans may have carried more survival burden inside their bodies and brains. It changes digestion. It changes time. Their world did not constantly entertain them. It tested them. Warmer climates, different diets. In the shared memory of the species, they were not primitive versions of you. They were specialists in a world you would find terrifying. Richard Wrangham has argued that cooking played a major role in human evolution. If you never navigate, your sense of direction can weaken. A group is not soft. If every silence is filled, deep attention becomes rare. That would be too easy. Your danger is trusting the wrong signal. Then came another shift. As climates changed, bodies changed. Less need for certain kinds of visual or physical processing. Fire did not just warm humans. The cartoon version is a stupid person with a club. More efficient neural organization. Your brain is standing on a mountain of other brains. Robin Dunbar's social brain hypothesis adds another piece. As communities became more settled in some places, bodies changed. A group is a mental jungle. Forgetting who shared food, who lied, who helped, and who betrayed could change your future. As diets changed, bodies changed. This is why there may not be one clean reason for brain shrinkage. So the ancient brain was not only reading nature. Your ancestors had to know the forest. It was reading people, and people are difficult animals. You have to track friendship, trust, jealousy, status, lying, cooperation, family, debt, kindness, revenge, and reputation. In simple terms, other people are complicated. Misreading anger could create violence. And once life reorganizes, brains can reorganize too. And translated the past into words you can understand. In tools, in language, in institutions, in technology. If you never memorize, your memory habits can shrink. Your ancestors did not have that problem. It may involve smaller bodies. Ancient humans lived inside small groups where relationships could mean survival. But this also means something can be lost. You can learn ancient history because researchers dug up bones, measured skulls, argued over data, published papers. You can survive infections because medicine exists. You can cross a continent because roads exist. You became more powerful, partly by becoming more dependent. A smaller brain that works efficiently inside a powerful social and cultural system can beat a larger brain that has to carry more of the world alone. Think about that for a second. That is a very human kind of weird. Nature asks one brutal question. Did it work well enough to survive and reproduce? Nature is cheap. Nature is practical. This is one of the biggest differences between you and the ancient world. It may reward the brain that does enough for a lower price. But nature is not trying to be heroic. That sounds less heroic. But over time, human culture became thicker. Your ancestors had culture too. Smarter at surviving a winter without heat? Maybe the whole system expanded. In plain English, brain cells are expensive to run. Then evolution may not always reward the biggest possible brain. They were not dumb, not even close. You use the brains of dead people every day. Science changed cause and effect. They had tools, teaching, memory, fire, stories, rituals, and social learning. Books remember discoveries. Labels remember warnings. Your body cannot waste energy forever. Your calendar remembers your plans. Different regions develop, different connections strengthen. That is strange when you slow down and think about it. Smarter at building a phone? No. Susanna Herculano Housel has written about the energetic cost of neurons. If culture and tools can take some pressure off the brain, you store pieces of it everywhere. Every time you read, you borrow memory from outside your body. Maybe. Smarter at recognizing animal tracks? Almost certainly. A search engine remembers facts. Every word you speak was shaped before you. Every tool you touch carries somebody else's solution. But if that world vanished, some of your intelligence would vanish with it. Your phone remembers numbers. A map remembers roads. And that is the uncomfortable part. More layered, more external. How it develops and how it works with the world around it. More space does not automatically mean better function. So maybe the brain did not simply shrink because humans declined. A brain can change in power, not only by growing larger, but by changing how it is wired. Technology changed what one brain needed to do alone. Smarter at memorizing landscapes, plants, people, seasons, and danger signs without writing any of it down? Recipes remember food experiments from people you will never meet. More permanent, writing changed memory. Cities changed cooperation. And your brain is not just a lump, probably in ways that would embarrass you. Different systems trade energy, attention, memory, emotion, vision, movement, and planning. You do not carry your whole mind inside your skull anymore. Not because you are stupid, because you are networked. But it does tell you something important.